right, good afternoon, young brother.
Good afternoon, my
All right,
brother.
well,
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum Salam. Welcome to have you today for this brief little discussion. So tell the people, what's your name and where you from?
My name is Ahmad Hasan Ibn Julius Thibodeau. I'm from Richmond, California, by way of Sacramento. Been in back and forth from Richmond to Sacramento since I was about 15 years old.
Okay, not to go too deep, but so you've been a young man coming from incarceration off of a life sentence. What inspired you to do the work what you're doing today?
Oh man, just knowing how easily we're led astray by our environment, conditions, systemic racism. For me, once the light switch came on, it was a whole different ball game. Kind of even felt ashamed and duped, in a sense, that I was easily led astray. No disrespect to none of the big homies or any individual that played a part in that. They was doing the best they could with the knowledge that they had. So my whole thing is to not want to see youngsters fall prey to the same things that I've succumbed to as far as my thinking and my lifestyle, and what led me to getting a life sentence and spending 23 years of my life in prison.
Absolutely. So, with you being somewhat of a violent interrupter out there in Sacramento, how was it? Because you out there in a gang environment, you coming from the Bay Area. How you transcend and transform those two things into one?
Well, like I said, I've been going back and forth from Richmond to Sacramento since I was like 14, 15. For me, it's really, and this is always up for debate, we have the gang culture here in the Bay Area. It's not Crips and Bloods, but it's blocks, and it can even be even
Block
more.
sets.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We even in a small city like Richmond, it's even your enemies could even be in closer proximity to you. So, but at the same time, I actually started this work here in Richmond, working at the Office of Neighborhood Safety as a life skills instructor. Then when Devon Bogan started Advanced Peace, first city was Sacramento. We hit the ground running in Sacramento, working with Healing the Hood and Sierra Health Foundation and other organizations out there. And pretty much from there, that's how Movement for Life came to be. And I'm now the executive director of Movement for Life. But it's all connected, man, from Stockton to the Bay Area, Sacramento, Los Angeles. Really, if you look at the culture, it's really the culture. And it's the culture with these young kids following. Bro,
Right.
it's following this worldwide.
So when you said, so what's different from the culture based when we grew up in the 80s to 90s and now to 2023? Well, could we see the constant change? 'Cause when we grew up in the culture, we talking about we was moving a little more faster, I think, than they are now. What I mean by that, today they just have the social media, but we moved a little faster when it came to far as our mentality.
So this is always a tricky question. The crack era, unfortunately, as devastating as it was, provided entrepreneurial opportunities.
Absolutely.
So we were more business minded in a sense that there was more structure. I think to answer your question, though, there's a constant regression. And one of the things that we have to be mindful of is that, yeah, things were better for us in regards to so-called boundaries. Like, you already know, you see your enemy, they with their mama or their daughter or their baby mama.
Hands off.
Hands off, you're gonna give them a pass. That's gone. And it's not really because the youngsters that say, well, more females are being involved and more females are doing shady stuff. They was doing shady stuff when we was young. But it was still, that code. We just didn't cross that particular line.
And I think we had checks and balances too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Codes, checks and balances, we saying the same thing. But there's a constant regression. The generation before us told us that we're worse than them.
Yeah.
So there's a constant regression, and until I think one of the terrible things about is the leadership now. You have individuals who are afraid to admonish youngsters or to admonish their peers, individuals that's right there with them. And unfortunately, we didn't have that. Like the big homies would put their foot down when we was young. Right. And the same thing when we moved into those positions. And now it's more so the pressure. They bow down to the pressure. Like if I tell them to do the right thing, they gonna think I'm soft, and we really didn't have that.
Exactly. So what keeps the motivation going? I know you just got to stay motivated, but we got them struggles and the obstacles. Like, man, do I want to get up every morning to do this? Is it working? That's the question. How do you know it's working?
Well, I know it's working because just the small success stories. For instance, we had a young lady named Destiny in the program, and when they first did her life map, man, they asked her, and I'm coming out and I'm seeing what her life map is, and at the time I was a program manager, so I'm checking, and they said they asked this young lady could she minimize her fights to 3 per week, and I was like, y'all joking, right? And they was like, nah, we are asking. She says she fights every day,
Right.
so we're asking her could she minimize these fights, the frequency of them, to 3 per week. And I was like, wow. But same young lady today, star basketball team at her high school, Valley High, and is being recruited by colleges all over the country.
Oh, that is great, man. So fantastic. We're going to stop here, but we're going to conclude, later on in the future. But I want to just thank you for the time and the opportunity to share the things what you do to the people, because these young men and young women, they need to hear this and really just see it, coming from us. And so, because we sit down, we look in their eyes and see ourselves. And so I thank you and I appreciate you, my brother.
Absolutely, Aki, you already know what it is.
And we are Motivated Helpers 100 Years Enterprise. And tell our people your organization again.
Movement for Life / Beautiful Evolutions, Masjid Al-Sabur.
Masjid Al-Sabur. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right.